Well, welcome to the Brother Mark Scott channel. Today we are going to be talking about my new upcoming ebook, The Dating Game, Rewriting the Rules so that you can win. But like I promised you, I would bring other points of view. I would do interviews with people who've had their own experiences, because again, I don't want to seem like I'm just coming off the top of the dome, but I'm really drawing from people who have real life perspective, real life experiences, and have some type of wisdom to give back. So today I have the pleasure of being able to bring onto the studio Brother JC. So, Brother JC, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the Brother Mark Scott Show. We're talking about relationships. First of all, though, I want you to introduce yourself to the people, let them know who you are.
Thank you, Brother Scott. Listen, man, I appreciate being on. My name is JC, and I appreciate, like I say, the opportunity to get to add some discourse to the conversation with respect to the topic at hand. Just to give you a little bit of background, I was married for 18 years, and unfortunately, that situation went awry. Then from that, went into the dating maze. I'm gonna say it like that, the whole dating maze, and learned a bunch of interesting things. But for me, what I've always wanted to do is not just jump into that maze, but I always wanted to catalog information, necessary information, as it relates to dating and perspectives and how people look at things and so on and so forth. So I've tried to do that in my own personal life, single life, to figure out what the hell this is in terms of what we're doing, what we're not doing right, what we're doing good, what works, what doesn't work, and so on and from there. So thank you for having me, brother. I appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, my absolute pleasure, Brother JC. And again, we've talked many times. You're a successful man in your own right. We share some common things in our journey. Again, I was married for 16 years. Unfortunately, I messed that up. It ended. I learned a lot of lessons the hard way. So my motivation, my mission, my purpose with the dating game is to try and take the mistakes that I've made and glean the wisdom from that so that other people coming up behind me don't have to repeat the patterns, don't have to make the same mistakes. And so when I have the opportunity to talk to somebody like yourself, man, that's what I'm after. Now, when I actually sat down and started looking at the dating scene, looking at social media, looking at the internet, the conversations that were being had, I've identified a couple levels to dating. One was the casual level, and these are people, hey, look, man, I'm just out here having fun. There's no real attachment, no commitment, no accountability. I see you when I see you. And these people, they move and operate in a way that is very free for them, but it also has some drawbacks to it. And it's different from the other levels. The next level would be the committed level. And these are people who are in either monogamous relationships. They could be an open or poly relationship, but it has some type of structure. There's some accountability, and there are people that you have an understanding with. Now, the next level, because those two levels have their own set of rules, but the next level is the established level. Now, these are people who traditionally want to be married, want to have family, want to build some type of legacy. So when they're dating, they're going to move, operate, and date differently than the other two levels. And then, of course, my girlfriend actually pointed out the fourth level, which is the I'm done level. I'm tired. Look, I done been through it. I done had my heart broke, been cheated on. You know, I done been married, got divorced. I ain't got the energy to go back into another relationship. So right now I can do bad all by myself. So I'm just going to do me. And that level I see kind of as a holding pattern, a stage where either people just stay either disillusioned because their expectations are unrealistic for what's out in the dating market, or they're healing, they're getting therapy, and they're preparing themselves to recycle back around into one of the other three levels of the dating game.
Right.
So from your personal experience, and I just, as a man, if you could have an opportunity to talk to women in mass, what do you think most ladies are misunderstanding about men and how we approach relationships?
Well, that's a very, very good question. And obviously we're going to go from the top to the bottom, but that is a very good, profound question. And my response to that is simply this: women do not understand men. They don't. Then you say, well, what do you mean they don't understand men? Well, think about it. They don't have to. Okay, well, Jay said they don't have to. Why? Because we pursue them. You see, I always look to the animal kingdom to get some perspective. Now, some people may ridicule that. Some people may think, what the hell is he talking about? But I look at nature to get a perspective, right? So the lion is the apex predator. The wildebeest, the zebra, whatever the prey is that the lion chases, the lion has to understand its prey, right?
Right.
The lion has to understand migrations. The lion has to understand tactics, when to move here. He's got his pride with him. So you're going to run ahead and do X, Y, Z. In other words, the lion has to understand what he's chasing and what he's pursuing. However, the wildebeest, the zebra, the buffalo, they don't need to understand the lion. They're just moving about their business in their migratory patterns, right?
Right.
So they don't understand that. That's why they get jacked up. So in other words, if one does not understand the other, it's problematic.
Yeah.
So this is why I always say women don't understand men. Number two, women don't have to understand men because they're always pursued. It's not the other way around. Women are born with their agency. They're born telling them that they're princesses and they're beautiful and they're this and they're queens and all of this other shit, right? Men, we got to get it out the dirt. So, for example, I want you to look into relationships between men and women. You see an older guy with a young woman, but the older guy got resources.
Right.
He has financial resources, right? And he's able to attract younger women. Depending on the level of his resources, he's able to attract whatever he wants.
Right.
For example, a wealthy guy may go into McDonald's. Wealthy guy.
Yeah.
He sees a beautiful woman. She on the fries, cooking fries, doing her thing. He may say, oh, she's beautiful. I like her. I want to talk to her. That's never going to happen the other way around. A wealthy woman is never going to go in McDonald's and see the brother on the cash register and say, hey, I want to meet him. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then we gotta put this shit in perspective. Biology. So I'm kind of jumping around. So let me just back up for 1 second, right? Let's go to the casual dating, right?
Right.
I think it is important that we define terms, right?
Right.
What is casual dating? Like if I talk to a woman, and I talk to many women, and she said to me, let's say I'm in a conversation with a woman, I'm asking her about her past and her relationships. She say the guy that I was with was an ain't shit dude. Okay. Now you expected me to assume what ain't shit is. No, I'm not assuming that. What do you mean by ain't shit? Right? Well, then when you start, so I think unpacking and understanding definitions and terms, I know sometimes our people got a bad relationship with the English language, unfortunately. But anyway, casual dating. Got into this conversation with my brother years ago. Yeah. What is casual dating? He said this. I talked to somebody else. Well, what is casual dating? They said this. What the fuck is casual dating, right? So I think it's imperative that we understand terms as it relates to how the other person understands this term. Number one. Yeah. So I'm not into casual dating. Now, what I mean, let me define what I understand casual dating to be. Okay. Casual dating means you date whoever you want. We met each other, we like each other, but you date whoever you want. I date whoever I want, which entails you sleep with whoever you want. Right. I sleep with whoever I want. If this shit works, it works. If it works, then we move to whatever phase we move into, right? Right. I'm not with the casual dating. To me, it's pointless. If you focus on one individual at a time, then you get to explore who they are, what they are about, how they move, what their interests are. But if you all over the map with a plethora of situations. I'm not sure how you do that.
Yeah.
I'm really not sure how you do that. And then this is what ends up happening. We get lost in the sauce in this maze of BS. You
Yeah.
see? So I'm a proponent. Like let's just go back to old school courting.
Right.
I meet a girl, girl meets boy, boy meets girl. We talking. Now my interest is on you, right? My interest is on you to see how this is going to work, how that's going to work. But if my interest is on this one, and this one, and then I'm just playing the sales game, which is what I do for a living, I'm playing the sales game, you never get to explore the other person's strengths and weaknesses and things of that nature.
Right. Because you're only dealing with surface. You can only afford to deal with people at a surface when you're dealing with multiple people at the same time.
That is correct.
So you can't really get in depth.
You're going to miss things. Yeah.
Absolutely. And again, and this is why with the ebook, I wanted to put some structure and some definition to each category and level so people could self-identify. Because again, if you're casually dating, to me, you really don't have any purpose for the relationship. You just need an escape from your everyday regular life. You want to have some fun with somebody. You want to get your rocks off, and you don't want any commitment. You don't want any responsibility. You don't want any accountability. You just want to be able to have fun when you want to.
Check this out. In my quest to understand these terms, when I became a single guy, because keep in mind, being married 18 years, I'm not out there, right? So when I get out there, all of this has changed for me.
Culture
shock. Now I got to understand terms, definitions, how you move with all of these other linguistics that was foreign to me, right?
Right.
So I said to my brother, we were talking, and I said, let me describe to you what I'm looking for in this moment. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a woman that I could go out with, have dinner with, do nice things with, smash, but I don't want no love connection at this point.
Right.
I said, so what do you call that? I want to go out. I enjoy the company of a woman. I'm not trying to get involved in no love relationship. I want to smash, but I don't want you. I want this smashing thing to be exclusive between us. Okay.
Right.
Not you, him, and whatever, me, whatever. But I don't want you to develop some love thing. So my brother said, well, you call that crazy.
Yeah. I was about to say that, bruh. Like you can't. Again, everything you just described is a committed relationship. You're in level 2 of the dating game. You're in a committed relationship with understanding, and there's some structure and exclusivity and accountability there. So
when you say committed relationship, right? So what is the committed? What ties the commitment?
Understanding. We're committed to being on the same page and understanding what we both want out of this and what it means.
Okay.
And again, that means when we have that understanding, I know where the boundaries are. I know what you expect, and I know what's inappropriate. So because we're got this understanding, I'm committed to keeping that understanding intact through my actions.
Gotcha. So I jumped all over casual in terms of my description into that second phase that you were talking about, right?
Right. Because the exclusivity, because again, with casual, there's no accountability. You can do whatever you want when you're not with me. But what you're asking for specifically is I'm asking for a commitment. I don't need you going getting your itch scratched nowhere else. I'm going to be the only person to do that. So we have an understanding that, hey, we're not trying to have the quote unquote, as you say, the love thing, but we have an understanding of what we expect of each other and where the boundaries are. So we're committed to that.
The thing is this. Let's go back to the casual. Let's say that's what we're doing. I'm not sure I want to be involved with a woman who has that type of mindset.
True.
That is to say that, again, women don't understand men and whatever. So that is to say that a man, his natural proclivity is not to be monogamous. That is a forced thing with the West. You can bring religion into it and so on and so forth. A man's natural inclination is not to be monogamous. It's just not what we're made out to be.
It's usually a choice that's made.
Well, but it's actually biology.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually biology. Now, people, what I'm saying, you can listen. I always say this: for a man to be in a monogamous relationship, what he's actually doing, he's actually disciplining himself, right, against nature.
Yes,
against nature. Right. It's not natural for a man to be monogamous because we want to get out here and smash every fucking thing we see. That's our nature. But watch this, ladies, if you're listening, it has nothing to do with a love connection. I don't love them hoes, like Snoop said. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be disrespectful.
No, you good, man. Speak your mind,
physical.
brother.
It's all physical with me, and it's all emotional with you. So we're not born from a biological standpoint to be in a monogamous relationship, but we can do it because we discipline ourselves against the nature of who we are. So the reason I described when I was having this conversation with my brother, what I wanted, what I was looking for is I was trying to avoid an emotional love connection from that woman to me, so that now we don't enter into this whole kaleidoscope of crazy shit.
So what is it that you think about the love connection makes the kaleidoscope of crazy shit appear?
When you into that role, that there comes accountability.
Yeah.
Responsibility.
Right.
Commitment, as you said. And all of that the ups and the downs and the perils that are associated with relationships, good things, bad things, and all that. I didn't want none of that. I want to go out to dinner with you. I want to have a good time. I want to go smash. I want to go home in my bed and sleep. I want to do it again sometimes.
Right.
But I'm not interested in having you do this with this one, and that one.
So let me ask you this, and I got to try to keep some type of balance and equality for the conversation.
Absolutely.
Would you say that is a unfair ask of a woman to be exclusive to you without having any emotional involvement? And again, going back to nature, because I want to get to the nature thing.
No, I don't, because unless a woman wishes to be a whore, because that's what they call those type of women. I didn't make the rules. That's just what it is. Okay. You see, we always want to talk about fair and unfair. This is why I established my premise in the beginning. Well, I didn't say this, but let me say it now. Men and women are different. They're not the same. They don't think the same. They don't look at the same shit the same way. So when a woman approaches me about what's fair, okay, so you feel like if I'm over here doing X, Y, Z, it's only fair that you do the same thing. Okay, well then go be a hoe. I know that sounds terrible.
But I've heard it was good for the goose is good for the gander.
And I got you, and that's some made up bullshit. That is totally against nature and biology. But if you
because the outcomes, the effects are different for men and women.
Here's the thing, brother. Again, if you look back at history, this whole system of monogamy. Now we on some other shit. We wasn't even talking about that, but now
that's all right, bro. We just having a conversation.
This whole system of monogamy, you could trace that back to religion. You could trace that all the way back to religion. But here's the problem, sister. Why does the man who has it all, beautiful wife, you're beautiful, family, livelihood is wonderful, but he'll still go fuck this motherfucker over here? Why would he do that?
Because he wants to?
Because it's nature.
Yeah.
It's nature. And then now you think the world is ended. Now you want to blow up the family. You want to get a divorce. You want to go all in. Why? Because he cheated. No, he didn't cheat, man. He exercised an option. He shouldn't have done it. He lacked discipline. That's what he did. He lacked discipline. And it caused you pain and hurt. But this is what he didn't do. He didn't push you aside and go over here and wife this side piece.
Right.
But only if you understood men, only if you understood a man could you understand that. That don't mean you say that's okay. You give him a pass. He's free to no. But don't blow up everything because of this. Because if you understood a man's nature, you would understand this dude exercised poor judgment. He totally lacked discipline.
Right.
And created pain for me. Okay. Yes. And he needs to make amends for that.
How?
But that's at the end of the world. Like this situation with Nia Long and
man, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I was just about to ask about that.
the coach. Let me grab me a bottle of water real quick. You can do some monologue, bro.
All right. Well, again, he brought up the situation, but shout out to the Godfather Kevin Samuels, because he was talking about how high value men don't cheat; they exercise options. And here's one of the realities that it's hard, even for me as a man, to accept. I'm not a high value man. Okay. Just I don't fit the criteria.
Right.
But understanding that certain men have much more opportunity and options and temptation than other men, and to ask them to deny themselves that opportunity when they produce at that level, it's an unrealistic ask. I'm not going to say it's right or wrong or fair. I'm just saying, going back to nature, when we have extreme opportunity and choice, the decision-making process is different than when you're limited. So certain men have built themselves up, like you said, because again, a woman, when she's born, if she's attractive, she ain't got to do nothing but just show up. She's there. She can get access to all the highest level men in the world if she's beautiful, simply for her innate, intrinsic nature of being a beautiful woman.
She's born with her agency. Yes.
A man, we have to build ourselves up. We have to accomplish things. Yes. We have to become something that is desirable to women. So yes, it is much different. And again, because our agencies are actually diametrically opposed in how they operate, because a woman, her greatest value in agency in the sexual marketplace is in her youth. Her prime, late teenage, early 20 years. But this is when they have the most options. For a man, we don't hit our peak until usually into our late 30s, 40s, and sometimes even 50s. So our options open up for us as we get older, whereas naturally, women's options tend to decline as they get older.
Yeah. And again, like you say, brother, again, now let me just say this. Definitely was a fan of Kevin Samuels, but I don't agree with anybody on 100% of nothing.
Right.
Don't.
Separate the meat from the bones.
Problematic things in all of these philosophies, right? For example, if you a high value man, you've got resources, income, and so on and so forth, and you handling your shit, and you meet a woman, and she explains to you what she's looking for, what she wants, I think there's a conversation that has to be had.
Yeah.
So that you're not, I don't want to hit you in the dark. Like, you coming through the door and I'm telling you, look, it's just like somebody said, asked a question one time. A woman asked a man a question. Will you ever cheat on me? That is the dumbest shit that I've ever heard. Will you ever cheat? You know what? I think they're going to make a cure for some incurable shit at some point. Yes, I believe they will. That's stupid. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't have a crystal ball and predict the future. I can't say that. You know, what I will or won't do. I can tell you this. I'm a man and I have the propensity to fuck up. So if you still want to roll with this, that's cool. Like you
Right.
say, men, we got to build ours. And at some point, that don't happen to our late 30s, 40s, 50s. Now we get invited to the candy store.
Yeah.
I'm using some analogy that I've heard from some other podcasts, so I want to respect them. But we get invited to the candy store. You've already been in the candy store.
Yeah.
This is my first time in here because I got money now.
Yeah.
Now you're going to tell me, now that I'm in the candy store, I can't have X, Y, Z. I can't sample this. I can only sample Snickers.
You can you use now again, if you are in a committed relationship with the understanding of monogamy, then yes, because and here's the biggest problem that, and I 100% agree with you about the nature principle. Here's the thing. When we try to align ourselves with the social construct of monogamy against nature, we take on the responsibility of maintaining our integrity and our word. What happens is we're not honest. And it's hard to, like you say, it's hard to predict what's going to happen down the road.
Well, I was going to say your word at what point? That was going to be my question. Your word, at what point did you say X? Or, at your word at what point? Because I don't think that men need to fool themselves. And I don't think that women need to pose that question. Listen, ladies, if you find whatever you call a good man, whatever that looks like, okay, a man that's earning enough money to support him, you, and a potential family. You guys have chemistry together, and you love to be in each other's presence and sight and all of these other things, and we can make this shit work. Then you make this work. But women sometimes have very unrealistic expectations. I'm gonna give you one other thing, brother Mark. If you ask a woman what she wants in a man, first thing she's gonna go to is his height.
6 feet plus.
He need to be 6 feet, whatever. Now she might be 5 foot fucking nothing.
Right.
He need to be 6 feet this, he need to be this, he need to be all that. So that used to bug me because I'm not 6 feet. I ain't nowhere close to 6 feet, right?
Hey, neither am I. Neither am I.
Right. So it's like I tried to understand that, but then I found the answer. And when I found the answer to that question, I was cool with it. That the answer to that question goes back to biology.
Yeah.
Because a woman, from a biological standpoint, in her makeup, wants to procreate with the biggest, the strongest man who could protect her. Right. But that was a more prehistoric era. But that's still embedded into her biology. I respect it.
It's nature.
I wasn't shitting on it no more. I get it.
Right.
But I'm like, look, sister, if security is a problem, I got that 9 right. I got that thing right here. So we up good. But the point I'm making, being funny, is I understood it from that perspective. But it's like, sister, you really need to understand what is the average height of a man in the United States?
5'7", 5'8", I think.
5'8", 5'8" to 5'9". That's the average height. Number one. Number two, out of these 6 foot dudes, how many of them are gonna want you? Number two. How many of them gonna choose you? Number two. You gotta stop with the bullshit, right?
Yeah. See, that's the hard part, though. See, again, because of the Disneyfication of romanticizing relationships, so many of our women have been fed this fantasy that you can have it all. That your 6 foot, 6-pack, 6-figure making dude is waiting to sweep you off your feet. You just got to find him.
That's it. And so I tell sisters, when you decide to parachute out of Disneyland,
right,
make sure you pull the cord so that your chute open and then you get into fucking reality. Then let's have a different conversation about these whole things. I'm telling you, man, being on the dating scene as long as I have, which is a long time, and I've been in a couple of committed relationships. This is what I'm looking for. And I think most men may agree with this, unless they are simps. I'm looking for cooperation, submissiveness, and humility. And I'm going to throw this in: rational and reasonable.
Yeah.
Rational and reasonable. That's what I'm looking for. See, women, unfortunately, have been told they was all this in a bag of chips. And you know what? We respect our beautiful women. No question about it. We love them. We care about them and all of this. But listen, you've got to manage your expectations. You got to manage reality here.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's not, all of that. But if they would ever take a journey over to let me try to understand a man category, all of these things will become clear to you. You want to have 2 and 3 children. With when you meet me, you say he wasn't shit, but he was the shit when y'all had children. But now he ain't shit. Okay. You want to have all these 3 children. Now you're older. Now you want another man to come in and play daddy to children.
Stepdaddy.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that, brother. If that's what you want to do, I respect it. But I'm saying to the sister, stop playing. Stop bullshit. You gave all of these great good years to this guy you said was nothing. But here's the lawyer that you jumped over in the club in the hands of the thug. But here's the lawyer defending the same nigga you jumped over in the club. See, you got to be more realistic, sister.
And be willing to compensate the brother who's coming behind to help clean up the mess that was made before. That brother should get more out of the situation than he usually gets. And I 100% agree with you. And again, I really want to take this conversation deeper, but I want to make sure we keep the time here. As we wrap up this interview, Brother JC, if you had the opportunity to go back to talk to yourself at 17, 18 years old as a young man, what advice would you give you about relationships, knowing what you know now, to the young 17, 18-year-old version of yourself?
I would probably say, don't be idealistic. Don't look at every woman as this innocent being. You see, that shit got jaded as life went on. Don't do that. And don't fall into unnecessary traps with conversation. That's what I would say to myself then. Don't fall into unnecessary traps with mindless, stupid, nonsensical conversation coming out of the mouth of the opposite sex.
Yeah.
Because she's already got an agency, but you don't know that, young man. You haven't built shit yet. You're still young.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Words of wisdom. Again, as young men, I would always encourage young men to build themselves, learn, get to know yourself, and establish yourself before you bring a woman into your life. Because quite honestly, if we put our romantic pursuits ahead of our purpose as men, we will always fall short, because a man who's not established in his purpose will always be double-minded. And in the relationships you get in, you'll throw away good relationships and mess over good women because you as a man yourself are not established yet. And you won't even know that you have this blind spot until it surfaces. So again, I'm 100% with you on that. And Brother JC, I want to thank you for spending this time on the Brother Mark Scott Show. And we got to do this again because there's so much more we need to talk about.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you. I'll just leave it with one quote on the tail end of what you said. Know thyself, and to thine own self be true. Thank you so much for having me on, brother. Look forward to doing it again. Thank you. My pleasure.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Well, there you have it. I want to thank Brother JC for coming in, sharing his wisdom. Again, I'm going to continue to bring in more people to talk about relationships. I'm definitely going to have Brother JC come back because him and I share so many thoughts, so many understandings, and we see things in alignment, and we want to move the conversation forward. We want to help people, but we have to hold each other accountable in this process. So again, with that being said, I just want to thank everybody for just coming in, joining the Brother Mark Scott Show. So as always, everything I do is motivated by love. So I need y'all to just be encouraged. Please, y'all, take care of each other. Be good to each other out there because we need each other. So again, this is Brother Mark Scott, the Brother Mark Scott Show. Don't forget, drop a love offering in the Cash App. Mr. M. Scott 76. Drop some love in there. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell so you know next time I drop a video. But again, thank you, Brother JC. Brother Mark Scott, I am out. I love you. Y'all be blessed.